Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Yes, I'm doing another rogue video because I just need to shoot my videos in the morning right now because I'm really busy. My wife and I are in the middle of moving. I'm having to train every day, and so it can be more hectic to get videos done sometimes in the afternoon. And I'm going to skip the intro on this one today. But a lot of you are still saying it in your head. Now, I put up a status yesterday on the fan page asking people why they train, and then I gave my reasons for why I train. I think it's an interesting question, and I actually enjoyed reading the responses there, and so I thought I would make a video here. About 200 people responded, and the answers are so varied, and a lot of you would be surprised because so many people who train, they think that other people train for the same reasons they do. And there are actually 20 or 30 different, sometimes basic reasons why people train. And it's not always what a lot of you would think they are, what the real motivation is. And so I want to open this up and ask people, why do you train? And I don't just mean weight training, I mean any type of training for any sort of sport or physical activity that you do. There's a reason you do it. There's something that drives you. And I would love for people to put it in the comments down below. If you guys want to make some little short response videos, I would be happy to watch those. If you want to post them below or post them on the fan page, I think it would be interesting. And the question becomes, why do I train? Well, I'm not going to get into why I trained for different things when I was younger, before I was an adult, because I did do a lot of martial arts training. I did do competitive shooting. I used to do competitive shooting at up to 1,000 yards. And that's stuff that I did, but that's a different story. Those weren't things that were chosen by me. Those were things that were chosen for me by my dad. When I started getting into my senior year in high school, I started gaining a lot of weight. I have a voracious appetite, and I just started eating more junk food, really. I just got to where I was eating a large pizza from Pizza Hut every night, drinking a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper before bed every night. Needless to say, as a non-athlete at that time who wasn't really training in anything, I put on a lot of weight. I put on something like 70 pounds in 8 months, and I wasn't a small guy when I started. I ended up being about 270 pounds. And so I took up distance running originally just to lose weight and get into shape. And I lost 100 pounds within a pretty reasonable time frame. By the time I could run 10 miles, I was down 100 pounds. I was down to 170. And then I started getting into weightlifting when I weighed about 170, because my weight stabilized there, even though I was running more and more, to get bigger and stronger, because I've always had a fear and an emotional hang-up about being weak. It is an intrinsic fear to me, and I see it as a flaw in myself. And it's something I dislike. And so that was a big part of my training motivation, and I found it to be very, very therapeutic. Weightlifting was a way to get out all of my rage and my anger and put it into the bar and leave it in the weight room rather than take it out on other people. And I found it really useful for that, even as a young man while still in my late teens. And I started lifting when I was 19. But then when I got sick a few years ago, and I spent a full year in bed, I got to experience one of my greatest fears, and that is to feel weak and helpless, because when I got out of bed, and I started trying to train again, I couldn't squat my own body. I couldn't bench press an empty bar. So I got to really experience, as an adult, my true terror and fear. And I decided at that moment that I was coming back to train hard, train with a vengeance, and that I would never, ever be weak again. And that's why for me, strength is my primary focus. And when I get someone who says, why don't you just rip down lean? Because what goes in my mind is, I would rather be dead than be weak again. So to me, to rip down lean and lose 50 pounds off my bench press, I am literally terrified of that idea. And people say, well, face your greatest fear. Well, I already did. So accordingly, I train for strength because I have a sheer terror of being weak ever again. I have a loathing and a disgust for weakness. And that is actually what drives me to train. That is my inner drive for why I lift so hard, so heavy, and train towards strength. And it's to the point to where when someone asked me a while back, what would I ever do if I was diagnosed with a medical condition that doctors say, hey, you've got about 9 months or a year to live, but you're going to have a lot of muscle wasting near the end. The final few months, you're going to be weak and probably almost bedridden again. what would I personally do? And if I knew it was incurable or unavoidable, I would probably take about a month, go travel around, visit some people who I love and care about one last time, and I would probably eat a bullet so that I could die while I was still strong. Because I decided as a choice in my life that I would never, ever be weak again. So, let's hear your reasons. I'm sure everyone has their own reasons. They're interesting. I would love to read them and see why my different subscribers actually train. Alright guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you next time.